30 days, 100 reps a day. Why are we doing this? Is that 30% of the muscles in our body, meaning that's about how many of the different muscles in our body are from the knees below, get only 3% of the attention in modern training. So 10 times as much focus put on everything that puts force into the ground except those muscles that then have to absorb it off the ground. So this is the ground up challenge. And what we're working here, if we look at some of these muscles, so let's start with the first exercise, tibialis raise. This is one of the most classic ATG exercises, butt against the wall, back not touching the wall, legs straight. You can either hold them straight yourself or put your hands. You want to walk out until you feel that stretch in your ankles, about a 45-degree flex up. Point your toes down to get that stretch. This would be a perfect tibialis raise, but if you can't do it, you just back up. Makes it easier. You can even, if you take your shoes off, there's less heel lift, so it's easier with your shoes off, so you can build up that way. Now, once you get to where it's easy walking out, for really, really elite, you can make it even harder by then building back up one side at a time. Now, in this case, if you hit failure, even backing up, so if you could do 25 straight like this, then you could start building one leg at a time. Now, if you hit failure, then you would go to the other side. So 25 means 25, even if it means, oh, hit failure at 15, now 15 on the other, now another 7, now another 7, and then 3 more each. That would be 25. You're getting the 25 done. Now, the tibialis, that's the muscle that when we're going to jump, that heel hits the ground to slow us down. So if you look, it's the same angle using that tibialis. So whether it's jumping, because the more force we can push that way, then the tibialis has even more force on it. So that slows us down to jump. It also slows us down if we run and then we stop. That tibialis works. Same if you're kicking a ball with the left leg, boom, the right tibialis works. But here's what's interesting. Even if you look, every step you take when you walk, your tibialis is working. And in older people, it's shown that the stronger your tibialis, the better you can walk for the rest of your life. So this ground up challenge is not just for now, it's not just for performance, it's not just for getting rid of shin splints or foot pain or things like that, or it's not just for that. This is actually helping you for the rest of your life so that you can walk pain-free, so that you can stay mobile as long as you live. So as soon as you finish 25 of your tibialis raise, you flip it around to an FHL calf raise, flexor hallucis longus. That's a muscle that starts in your big toe, okay? So instead of a normal calf raise on a ledge, if you look at the angle of my toe, you're gonna back it out. And what's awesome is you need no equipment, just like the tibialis raise. You need no equipment whatsoever for this routine. So you're gonna walk it out until you feel those upper calves, until you feel your ankles at full mobility there. Now you could do it two-legged, and look at how the pressure's on my big toe way more now. Or you can do it one-legged. So if you could do 25 in a row like this, then you would start rebuilding 25 like this. But again, if you say you hit failure at 13, then you would do 13 on the other side. Then you would go back, say you get another 7. Now you're at 20 each side, and then you finish out. So you just keep going till you do 25, and then you switch it around. You switch it back around, another 25 tibialis raises. Now you're gonna be getting really pumped. We're giving double to the tibialis because then we're finishing with the KOT calf raise. So why don't you come around here so we can see it. So now the KOT calf raise is similar to the concept of the FHL calf raise where we're going to ankle mobility there. Now we wanna stand forward and now we wanna go to ankle mobility here. So see how my heels come off? So I'm at ankle mobility there. And now I'm gonna try to keep my glutes locked and flex up. And now we're getting to the lower calf called the soleus. The soleus is the one that relates to your Achilles. So you could have really strong standing calf raises and still have Achilles issues. So in here, we're working our ankle mobility. We're getting an isometric on the knees. We already know that the simplest base evidence for protecting your knees is that the better your ankle can bend and the stronger you are with your knee over toe, the more protected you are. So you're in an awesome isometric position. And guess what? You can build this glute locked 25 in a row, and your VMO will probably be on fire too. So now you're putting money in the bank for your lower calf, for your Achilles, and for your VMO. And this soleus has the most strength per pound, has the strongest pull of any muscle in the human body. That means for things like jumping, you can make so much progress by training this muscle. You can just keep gaining and gaining and gaining. And that's why you'll see that if you look up a guy right now named Nick Briz, super famous on Instagram, when he jumps off one foot, everyone else in the world is going here and using the tibialis and jumping like that. And that's totally fine. But this guy, watch my foot. He actually goes toe first when he jumps. And what's interesting is that the only guys 6 foot or less who are jumping from the foul line in the world are doing it toe first instead of heel toe first, because there's so much potential. The point is we want to be strong on both, okay? In general, this is for acceleration. Tibialis is for deceleration. We want to be world class in both of those. So that is the routine. Recap: 25 tibialis raise, 25 FHL calf raise, 25 tibialis raise, 25 KOT calf raise, with double-legged making it easier. And with the KOT, you could start right here. You don't have to be all the way out. So it's a progression itself that actually will start to build up your knee. And then as you get stronger, you would go all the way forward till the glutes locked, and then eventually you put the weight on it. So this is where we want to be for 25 straight. And guess what, for that whole routine? No equipment whatsoever. So you want to do that daily, but you have to understand with training, you're putting an imposed demand to adapt. So if you do it one day and the next day you're sore or in discomfort because of what you did the previous day, you can do it less. You don't have to do it all 30 days. That's the challenge. The challenge is to do it all 30 days. And if you're probably sore the next day, you probably went too far, okay, and you can modify. But I'm just saying, even if you did this every other day, even if you only did it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, even if you only did it Monday, Thursday, even if you only did it Monday, you're still doing more than what anyone else is doing in the world in terms of conventional training. There's some other forward thinkers, but in terms of what 99% of the world is doing, even doing this routine once a week is gonna keep you healthier for the long run than any other training out there. So, 30-day challenge. If you're gonna do it, keep me really closely posted.